Everyone, welcome to the Stage 17 betting preview for the Tour de France. There's a look at the profile right there, but we'll get into that in more detail in just a little while. Time, though, first to discuss what happened in Stage 16 and what a result it was for Hugo Hoyle. I've heard of the guy, but I certainly don't know him very well. And a fascinating story developed as he broke away seemingly to set the victory up for Michael Woods, but in fact managed to keep going over that final climb. Those last 4 kilometers, particularly impressive. And once he crested a few seconds ahead, you knew he could hold on for the win. And he held on to his margin. In fact, actually grew it to 1 minute and 10 seconds by the line. So a brilliant ride for him. He'd lost his brother in a hit-and-run accident in 2012. And I must admit, I don't normally get emotional during sporting events, but I was pretty emotional watching him come home. You could just see what it meant to him. And absolutely a great result for him. And I reckon a great result for the bookies, because I cannot imagine anyone had a bet on that guy. I actually don't even know what price he was. I can only imagine he must have been about 300 to 1. If you do know the price, let us know down below in the comments section or at Brent Graham on Twitter. I'd be interested to know what price he was. Anyway, Marios, I always get his name pronunciation wrong. He rode excellently to come second. I actually thought he was working more for Stora, but he actually ended up coming second. And Woods, he completed a great day for Israel Premier Tech. Very impressive, a third place finish for him. I guess, while happy for his teammate, he must have been a little bit upset that was his teammate up the road, because he was clearly strong enough to probably chase him down. And at the end of the day, he played the perfect teammate and came in third. So well done to him there. As far as the general classification goes, there was some action on the penultimate climb. Pogacar trying to attack Vingegaard, but Vingegaard just looking too strong. Jumbo-Visma, very impressive today. They've lost a couple of guys. What did they do? They stuck 2 in the break, including, of course, the unbelievable Wout van Aert. And there was a very interesting point in the stage where I was watching the betting, and Van Aert was in the front group, and bookmakers at one point, I was watching Sunbet's betting, he went 6-4, so 15-10 favorite. And no sooner that I was thinking that's a crazy price, because they could pull him back, that he began to drift. But sure enough, I mean, it was always more than likely that Vingegaard was going to pull him back, because he didn't have a lot of troops around him. And once again, Van Aert playing the team role there. People think he's maybe a bit selfish going out there, but in actual fact, he's doing it for the team, and he's strong enough to get into all of the breaks. Expect more from him, more of the same from him in stage 17, quite frankly. So Pogacar there, still these two have been locked together since Vingegaard took the yellow jersey. 2:22, Thomas 2:43 back. Yates lost a bit of time today. I was a bit disappointed. I was expecting a little bit more from Ineos, but clear that the guys just don't have the legs. Quintana looking good, and Gardner, well, credit to him. He always looks done and dusted, and somehow comes back. Louis Mankey showed himself up today. He certainly tried to attack, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does on the stage 17. Vlasov, well, he's ridden himself back into the top 8, but I wasn't overly impressed with his legs, and you'll see I've got a match bet involving those two coming up in just a while. Let's have a look at the classification betting at Sunbet. I'll just make this a little bit bigger so we can see what's happening there. And general classification, Vingegaard here, 33, 1-3 is basically shortened into 1-3 favorite. Pogacar 9-4, Geraint Thomas 16-1, and you can get 40-1 and better the balance. The other classification that's looking quite interesting at this stage is King of the Mountains, Geschke. You have to be impressed with this guy. He just keeps on hanging in there, taking points. And in what looks like being a pretty low scoring, if that makes any sense, Mountains classification, he's actually now shortened into the 2-1 favorite. I think you could get 9-1 about him overnight. Vingegaard, he's 7-2, and Pogacar 4-1. For those two to win now, and there is still a good chance, it's going to take one of these last 2 stages at least for them to win and take the big points on the final climb. So we'll see what happens there. But certainly still plenty of interest, and I could well see, let's just go back to the official King of the Mountains points. We've got Geschke now, he's still leading Louis Mankey's now, obviously by almost 20 points. So it's quite a big lead in the context of how much points is available out there. Paulus, he looked like he might have hit the wall in this tour at the moment. He's probably not strong enough. But could someone like a Pidcock, 28 points, where I'm looking for my man Jungels, but I see he's not there in the top 10. I reckon if Van Aert put his mind to it, he could probably take this jersey. Anyway, that's the classification betting. Let's have a look at the stage now. And here we've got a very short stage tomorrow, but it's a brutal one, 129.7 kilometers. A flattish start. It's going to be very interesting to see what sort of break we have going away. I think today's break took me by surprise. Jumbo-Visma never put up a fight. They rather stuck two guys into the break, including Wout van Aert. And the break went away straight away. And I'm sure there were a number of players, a number of riders in the peloton who actually wanted to be part of the break and were quite surprised that went so quickly, actually missed the opportunity. Anyway, a big break went away. And I was feeling pretty good about it. I had Martinez at 14-1. I had Caruso at 14-1. And generally speaking, feeling good about my chances there. And in fact, Caruso was very aggressive. But ultimately ended up fading. Now, what are we going to get on stage 17? We go 53 kilometers before we start climbing the first Cat 1, 12 kilometers at 6.5%. We've then got another 8, so a quick descent followed by another 8.2 kilometers at 5.1. What's interesting about the stage, aside from the distance, is that there's not a lot of flat between the mountains. And that's quite important because you'll have noticed if there's 10 to 15 kilometers of valley road, it gives time for the guys behind to catch up if there's, for example, a lone leader. And basically, the teammates tend to do a bit of a regrouping. And quite often, it doesn't lend to very attacking racing in the early climbs. This is very different, though. There's actually quite a bit of, there's not a lot of flat road, a little bit between the second and third climb here, but not a lot of flat road. And that means we could get some attacking riding. And I mean, Pogacar has shown us that he's going to keep trying. I felt his attacks today were perhaps a little bit ill-timed, but at the end of the day, he has to try sometime, and credit to him for that. So more than likely, we're going to get a fairly strong break going away because I think it's going to be all hell breaking loose as guys try and get in it. The question then we've got to ask ourselves is who's going to chase the break? Now, Jumbo-Visma, clearly they're on the defensive at the moment. They'll stick a couple in the actual break, and I don't see them being aggressive. I certainly don't see them going for the stage win unless there's someone strong who gets into the break. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, can someone like a Yates get into the break? It's going to probably struggle on flat road like this, but who knows? Maybe the break only goes at 53 kilometers. But I mean, if there is someone strong and a threat to the jersey or perhaps any of the top classifications, then there is a good chance the break might be brought back. But I think more than likely, Jumbo-Visma will make sure and they'll probably make sure there's no one too strong in the break. And the break will probably sail. And in all likelihood, I think the break will win the stage. We'll go into my bets now in just a few seconds. Just a reminder, if you do enjoy these previews, yes, please hit the like button. It does help the channel a lot. Let's take that off the screen and also remind you that you can register for a free weekly game newsletter. Good for the game newsletter down below. I'll stick that scrolling there. And back to the stage itself, right? What are we going to be punting? Let's have a look at the betting. I'm going to go to World Sports Betting. Remember, they've got their promo, their money back for second place special, which is very popular in the Tour de France. Perhaps less so in some of these mountain stages where they are so open, but certainly in the sprint stages, it's a very good option to have. Right, Tadej Pogacar, he's 7-2. Vingard 9-2. We've got Thibaut Pinot 8-1. Pinot, has he been saving himself for the stage, or are his legs not that great? I suspect it might be the latter. I do expect him to be in the break, but I'm not so sure he's going to be able to finish it off. Michael Woods, well, he's clearly recovered from his crash. He looked pretty good. And Thomas Pidcock at 14-1. And probably on that note, let me bring my bets up now. We can discuss those. Right, I'm going 1 unit here on Pidcock at 14-1. Ineos will surely try and get him into the break. He looks like he's got pretty decent legs. He showed us up Alpe d'Huez just how well he can climb. And I think, Pidcock at the end of the day will also benefit from a couple of tricky descents in this race. Because the thing with Pidcock, if he goes over the penultimate climb 30 seconds behind, he's probably going to start the final climb with a 1 minute lead. That is how well he descends. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm putting 1 unit on him at 14-1. I'm giving Caruso another chance. Man, he worked very hard in the stage today. I wonder if he didn't pay the price for that on the final climb. I'm hoping he rides maybe a bit more of an intelligent race there. He's 33-1. I'm going to give him another chance. Chris Froome, I never thought I would be saying this. I did put what I considered a little joke bet on Froome at 300-1 earlier in the tour. But Chris Froome actually had a very good day today. He only dropped very late from the final sort of bunch of favourites, and we haven't seen this sort of form from Froome in many years. He was, of course, third up Alpe d'Huez as well. So I wonder now if it isn't Froome's turn to once again get in the break, and who knows, Froome may well just be able to kick on and win it. I was reading that this climb famously at the end was where he cracked and lost the yellow jersey a few years ago. If I remember correctly, he was almost cycling in cross paths trying to come up the final bit of the climb. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Froome can have a go at getting some sort of a revenge on the climb. And then I'm going to go for Cron. This stage is probably too hard for him, but he's 125 to 1. He had a fairly quietish day today. I'm guessing he might have been one of the guys who missed the break today by accident because it went so soon. And yeah, he's had a lot of bad luck and just a guy that I feel is going to pop up there and potentially still do something on this tour. So I'm going for Cron there at 125 to 1. I just want to actually pop onto the match betting at World Sports Betting because that's where I found my bet for the stage. Louis Meintjes over Alexander Vlasov. I'm going 3 units Meintjes over Vlasov at 12 to 10 at World Sports Betting. Why am I going for this? Well, I actually wasn't overly impressed with Vlasov today. Got into the break, but you would have expected him to kick on and potentially even win the stage. His legs still don't look that great, though. Credit to him, he pulled himself back into the top 10. And that means with both Meintjes and Vlasov there in the top 10, unlikely that either of them are going to be allowed in the break. So it should then come down to the final climb. And I think Meintjes is actually looking pretty good at the moment. I think he's got every chance of taking Vlasov. I also think Meintjes might even try to get himself in the break. And perhaps of the two, the teams may rather allow Meintjes to go into the break rather than Vlasov, who is definitely a bigger overall threat. Meintjes, at the end of the day, I don't think the guys think that he can take them. So we'll see what happens there. But those are my bets for the stage. Looking forward to stage. Let's have a quick look at the profile for stage 18 before we knock off, because that is, of course, taking place on Thursday. It's another short stage. It's 143 kilometers, and this is also going to be probably after this we've got Friday stage, which is not particularly dangerous. And then, of course, we've got the time trial. So all things going to happen here. We've got some big climbs, including how come there at 13.6 kilometers at 7.8%. So it should be another cracking stage. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoy the previews. Hope you're having a good betting Tour de France. I've got to say, my form has dipped somewhat, so follow me with a bit of caution at the moment. I was flying early in the tour. I'm like one of those guys just hanging on and waiting for Paris at the moment. Have a good one, and we'll chat late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning.